Hi, I'm Adam with Contemporary Woods. This is Galen. He and I are going to be working on gluing a damaged door. And let me show you, we'll zoom in on this damage here. The door came shipped to us and the glue joint was broken. And you can see here as I'm flexing it, the glue needs to be inserted back in there. It needs to be carefully clamped and get back to its proper shape. Let me show you some of the materials that we're going to be working with today. We use yellow glue, PVA style glue. We currently use Titebond brand, but any kind of yellow PVA style glue, Titebond 1. We have scrap blocks of wood to evenly apply pressure. We have clamps to evenly apply the pressure there. And then we have a glue, just a small painter's putty knife. I don't even know what you call it. A painter's spatula that will help allow us to get the glue in the places that we need. And we have wax paper, so that way when we clamp blocks, because we'll clamp a block here, and we'll apply pressure that'll help distribute the load. When we do that, the wax paper will help break the bond, so we're not gluing a block accidentally to that. So we're going to jump right in and get started here. Russ, could you grab those clamps and just hand them to Galen here, please? And then take this door. Okay, so let's just put those on the bench now. We have a little more room. So here it is. Well, this one is fine as far as we can tell, if I remember right.
Yeah.
It's not broken, so we're not going to try to break it more and get more glue in there. But we are going to start in the middle here. And Brian, you can probably come in a little closer. So I've applied a bead of glue, and I'm going to use my finger as a hydraulic pressure, so to speak. You can see that I'm twisting it with the other hand, and I'm forcing glue in there. And I don't know if I can easily get glue in all the areas or not, but I'm doing the best I can. I'd rather make a little bit more of a mess now and worry about cleaning it up later. It's important to get the glue. And I don't really want to break this all open and completely separate it just to get glue in the crack. So I'm gonna stress it a little bit. I'm gonna put a bead of glue on the surface. I'm gonna use my finger as a hydraulic press to force the glue in there and then relax. And you can see I've gotten some in there, but on this side here, you can still see there's a gap. So I'm gonna do it again. And I'm really only doing 2 or 5 pounds of pressure. Don't wanna break it again. I just wanna get, as I'm opening it up and putting more glue in there, I'm seeing a squeeze out as I relax. I'm gonna see if I can get a little more in there. Now with standard type 1 PVA glues, we only have about 5 minutes of working time or open time. So you can see I'm using my finger as a squeegee to force it in there. I'm gonna call that good. And we're gonna have the sponge here, thank you sir, to get rid of some of the excess glue. But I'm not gonna squeeze water into the joint. I think we can get the other glue off later. Again, we're ready for wax paper on that.
Both sides.
And then I'm gonna, while he's working on that, I'm gonna get this one glued. And actually, Galen, I forgot we're gonna have to flip this door again, so okay. I'm jumping a little ahead of the curve here. Typically, most of our doors we're repairing only have one damaged corner, but since this is a larger door, it has the mid rail, so it makes it a little bit more complex. Yet again, you can see that the joint's open, so I'm going to put a bead of glue here, try to catch it before it hits the ground, and stress the joint. And I'm taking the glue and I'm applying it, using the curvature of my finger to press. And what I'm going to do is flip the door a little bit of glue that maybe could go in there too, just in case I might have wiped too much off. Do the same thing here. So there it is with no glue in it. Yet again, we're gonna apply a bead. We're gonna use our finger as a hydraulic mechanism. Yet again, I can stress this, open it up, put some more glue in there. And I see that there's, I could try to apply some glue here. I don't know if that's really gonna help. It looks like it's not gonna help that much there. I'm just making a mess of it. And Galen, that knife that you and I had, we're gonna do this again. And I might need your help, Galen, where we, can you take the knife and twist it like that? And then I'll put some glue here. And yet again, I'm gonna take that knife. Hey, Russ, can you grab the air hose? There's one with a yellow blower over on there.
Yep.
And we're gonna try a new technique I was using the other day. Thank you, sir. So I'm gonna try to not be too loud on the microphone. My goal with that is to have the glue be forced back into the crack. I think we're at a point where we should stop fussing. And I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of water out. I wanna be able to see some of the squeeze out. So now we're ready to put the clamps on. So now we're gonna apply the clamps. And we're putting the wax paper on there and some blocks to help distribute the pressure. And this is gonna be a little bit challenging because we have to clamp both ways. So let's first put a clamp here. That way I'll give some of this counterbalance. And I'm gonna do this here and lift up the frame a little bit. Okay, and I'm gonna lay this clamp down like this. And let's see. It's hard to see with the wax paper there. I might take that off for the moment here and get my clamp where I want it. So making sure the clamp is engaged first, and I'm looking very carefully. I'm not putting hundreds of pounds of pressure, I'm just putting tens of pounds of pressure. I think that's okay. I'm gonna fold my wax paper down now, and then we're gonna slide this over to the edge of the bench. Russ, you wanna support that? Galen, you support the side of the door. Back a little bit. There we go. All right, can't hold all that. Now I like to have the jaws on the clamps always pushing this way, so I can use more leverage. And so I'm gonna move this out a little bit, and I'm gonna use the back handle to apply the pressure there. These are a pretty medium force clamp. If we wanted more pressure, we could switch to a C clamp. But now I have this started on the bench here. It's giving me some counterbalance, and it's giving me some opportunity to work here. Slide this over a little bit. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. Now, if anybody at home is counting in the minutes, we have already hit our 5-minute mark, so we need to be as prompt as possible. But yet again, let's put the clamp here. And if you watch my hand, I'm gonna force this bar on the clamp like that, and that helps engage it quicker. So I'm holding my fingers here, trying to be aware of where we're at. I don't know if that wood hand clamp will give us all the pressure we need. Why don't you grab me a C clamp, like a 6-inch C clamp, because this needs a little bit more force on it. Since I can't see the joint, I kind of want to over guess, and so I'm going to use a bigger clamp that will allow us to apply a little bit more force. Probably should have this ready ahead of time. Thank you, sir. These clamps are kind of cool because they have a quick release. And I want to, this clamp's barely big enough. I want to put all the force kind of centered over where I'm clamping. Okay. And that is how we're gonna finish the repair. So to go over the steps of what we did, we cleaned out the repair, made sure that we were able to force glue into the joint, and then we checked and cleaned out any excess, and then we clamped it, and then we want to make sure it's flat. So the last thing I'll do is kind of either sight down it with my eye, which it looks pretty good. What I'm looking for is to make sure that we're not twisted. So the door is flat and it's not clamped really weird. And what we'll do is we'll take off the clamps in 20 to 30 minutes so we can clean up the glue. And that's how we're going to do a repair on a frame and panel door.